Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all courtesies observed. I send warm greetings to you all and thank you for this opportunity to address the 21st COP of the Barcelona Convention and its protocols. I'm particularly pleased to do so because the Barcelona Convention constitutes an important piece in the mosaic of regional multilateral environmental agreements that underpin global efforts to address the plight of the ocean. Gathered today in the historic city of Napoli, I put it to you all that the well-being of our species may be intimately intertwined with the fate of coral, and coral's survival prospects are not particularly good. We're advised by IPCC that the great majority of the planet's coral will have died away when we pass over the dreaded line of 2 degrees global warming. Unthinkable, you might say. But ladies and gentlemen, we're currently well on course towards a 3 to 4 degree world. Coral reefs are the bunkers of biodiversity for the ocean. What will happen to the ocean's ecosystem when and if coral reefs are gone? The answer is that we don't yet know. But common sense tells us it won't be good for the health of the ocean ecosystem as we know it. And the underlying reason for our fate being closely linked to that of corals is that you can't have a healthy planetary ecosystem without a healthy ocean ecosystem. Currently, as I'm sure you know, indicative trends on the ocean's health are cause for great concern. The recently published IPCC Special Report on the Ocean and Cryosphere in a Changing Climate confirms that the ocean has absorbed the brunt of excess heat in the atmosphere and that it is steadily warming. A warming ocean means rising sea levels, poleward movement of marine life, changing ocean currents, and the dying off of coral. Thanks to high anthropogenically created CO2 levels in the atmosphere, the ocean is acidifying, while at the same time losing its levels of oxygen, both phenomena exacerbating and both making life under the waves gradually more difficult. If you care about the health of the ocean, ladies and gentlemen, do everything in your power to combat the chief cause of its decline, namely our greenhouse gas emissions. Net zero carbon emissions by 2050 is our best chance of saving life in the ocean. Governance measures for regional seas around the world, including the Mediterranean, also have a massive role to play in correcting the wrongs that humanity continues to put upon the ocean. I refer here to our track record on pollution and fishing. When it comes to pollution, there is so much we still have to do if we sincerely wish to attain the Sustainable Development Goals. The global plastic plague has permeated the marine food chain with its microfibers, and we are eating the results, with proof emerging they are crossing our blood-brain barriers. You've all heard the fact that we dump a garbage truck's worth of plastic into the ocean every minute of every day. Well, for all the talk, that unconscionable human behavior continues. And it's not just plastic. Excess fertilizers from our agricultural systems, heavy metals from our industrial and sewage practices are posing serious threats to marine and coastal life, with a proliferation of toxic or marine dead zones. These have huge implications for health, livelihoods, and food security. Meanwhile, irresponsible fishing practices have depleted fish stocks to a point where 33% are now overfished, dealing a heavy blow to biodiversity. We must never forget that biodiversity degradation threatens food security, water supplies, and the biodiversity upon which human development depends. We continue to spend over $20 billion per annum of public monies subsidizing industrial fleets to go off in pursuit of diminishing fish stocks, and in some cases to perpetrate illegal fishing. WTO has urgent work to do in this regard. We have probably all been receivers of stolen goods at some time. For every year, about $23 billion worth of marine life is illegally caught. I feel that as consumers, we should be demanding from retailers and restaurants that we are not complicit in this crime against communities, against countries, against scientific management of fish stocks. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in SDG 14, we have a weapon to reverse the decline in the ocean's health. Implement it with integrity and we will indeed stop the rot, but we must be vigilant. That is why the first UN Ocean Conference was held in 2017, and it is to support the implementation of SDG 14 that the UN General Assembly has mandated the holding of the 2020 UN Ocean Conference in Lisbon from the 2nd to the 6th of June next year. SDG 14's targets address all of the ailments I've just referred to. In tandem with addressing them, we have advanced in many other areas of ocean action, including the establishment of biodiversity-saving marine protected areas, of nature-based solutions like the restoration of mangrove forests, of measures to block illegal fishing like FAO's Port States Measures Agreement and the IMO's Cape Town Agreement, of saying no to single-use plastic products, of working with WTO ambassadors to remove harmful fisheries subsidies, of protecting the rights of small-scale fishers, of advancing source-to-sea agenda to better manage the water cycle, of developing the sustainable blue economy through offshore energy and sustainable aquaculture, of introducing 100% marine spatial planning in all our EEZs, and by pursuing robust international law for the high seas governance through the BBNJ conference. You'll no doubt be aware that the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development gets underway in 2021. We'll give it a big boost at the UN Ocean Conference in Lisbon with our central theme of scaling up ocean science and innovation. When you're sick, you go to the doctor. Well, the ocean's health is in trouble, so we need to consult the ocean doctor, and that means that we need the consensual advice of the best of our ocean scientists. We have them in the worldwide network of IOC UNESCO, but they need more time and resources, and that's where the Ocean Decade comes in. Through the decade's cumulative push, they will be able to compile the comprehensive advice we'll need by 2030 in order to make the really tough decisions regarding our relationship with nature that are looming. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in this quest for a restoration of balance and sustainability, both in the realization of SDG 14's targets and in the success of the UN Decade of Ocean Science, the role of regional processes will be crucial. Be it pollution spreading ocean currents or the movement of marine life, man-made boundaries are only that. We have to work for the good of one ocean, but we must meet the challenges of regional seas in order to win the battle. Here again, I wish to speak in support of the Barcelona Convention and its protocols. The regulatory framework you have put in place in the Mediterranean constitutes a solid foundation for cooperation. It looks towards a transition into a world where sustainable development does not jeopardize the health of marine and coastal ecosystems. That surely must be our destination. We've come to a time in human history when we must choose between a continuation of the short-sighted linear path of consumption and production that we've been on, or pause for reflection, and then take the path to higher ground by relearning how to live in harmony with other life forms and the finite resources of this most beautiful of all planets. I thank you for your attention to my words today, and I wish you a productive time in Napoli.